Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Linde Werdelin Oktopus Moonlite 2014 limited edition of 59 pieces in alloy Linde Werdelin. You can see and you can purchase this unique moon phase automatic sports watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Linde Werdelin Oktopus Moonlite limited edition of 59 pieces. 59 pieces, why? Well, because that is 2 complete moon cycles. So 2 complete lunations, and on your wrist that'll take a stance of 46 millimeters from 9 to 3, not inclusive of the crown. The watch is actually slimmer in practice than its 15.7 millimeter thickness would suggest. So because it does have a generously sloped case flank, you'll have no trouble getting it underneath a sport jacket or blazer cuff. Now, from lug to lug, the watch is quite compact, as the actual dimension to dimension span across the wrist is only 49.6 millimeters. And I have to say, of all of the watches built in this style, and that includes all the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak offshores and all of the Hublot Big Bang variants, the Linde Werdelin Octopus and Spidolite pairing are the ones that wear the most compact. Of course, the Octopus and the Spido being the water sports and land sports watches of Linde Werdelin, a company that's only been making watches since 2006, but with a combination of Swiss precision and Danish design, they've come out swinging. Now, I need to clarify that when you buy a Linde Werdelin, you're buying a very uncommon timepiece, not just because they only make 59, 88 small runs, but because generally they only build a few hundred watches a year. Think 500 to 800. It's about FP Journe levels of production, so the watches are uncommon. They're also wonderfully comfortable because they have a highly standardized case design that generally measures 46 millimeters in diameter and that compact sub 50 millimeter lug-to-lug dimension. Now the thing is, my wrist, just for reference one more time, is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see this wonderful strap, which I believe is injection molded, and it's a natural vulcanized rubber. It actually has cleft segments, so it's more flexible. It has those partitions molded in, so it wants to contour to the wrist more than a huge hunking piece of rubber normally would. A very comfortable watch, and that's before you even get to the alloy Linde Werdelin. This is a watch head that weighs under 70 grams by itself, which is remarkable considering it's both automatic and complicated. Now, alloy Linde Werdelin, what is it? Well, as far as I can tell, it's a sort of, and I want to say this, a heat-treated alloy, possibly a ceramized alloy, involving large amounts of aluminum. I don't know for sure, and I once met Jorn Werdelin himself, and he didn't even quite know. So we know it's an aerospace material, that it's effectively colorless, and that it's heat-treated, so it has a very high hardness factor on the surface that's about 20 microns thick. I've never seen one scratch, and I've seen a couple of them at this point. So considering these watches came out in 2014 and I have yet to see one scratched despite experiencing several pre-owned examples, I'm going to come out and say that alloy Linde Werdelin is tough stuff. Now, I mentioned that the strap is segmented, and it is. As you can see, it has molded in creases that allow it to move with a little bit more nimbleness on the wrist than you might expect of something that is this bold in profile and this thick. It also features, smartly I might say, evacuated elements on the bottom, so there are broad channels that will avoid keeping moisture, heat, sweat, and grit trapped on the wrist. Also, because the strap is relieved on its reverse side, it's effectively thinner and more flexible. It has a matching buckle, which is handsome and simple. It has a little bit of a Danish design sensibility to it, like most of the watch. Strong but simple geometries with an inherent elegance and a nobility about its lack of any pretension. Moving back to the watch, you can see that it is designed to be a very integrated case and strap construction. Again, in the tradition of something like a Royal Oak offshore. I will say, though, the watch wears better than any offshore I've ever encountered, including the early Scubas with their JLC movements. Now, you'll note that there are sort of, for want of a better term, recessed docking points on both sides of the watch. You'll also note, again, that attention to detail, the octopus crown. That's because the watch is designed to work with Linde Werdelin's sports computers, both the Rock, which is made for land sports and thus not exactly intended for the octopus, and the Reef, which is a professional level diving computer and precisely intended for the octopus. The idea being, and Linde Werdelin was really ahead of the curve in the 2000s with this notion, that you could put your computer on top of the watch. That's why why it has this profile, so it'll dock with any of their computers. And then you can avail yourself of all the advanced instruments, from dive timers to multiple alarms to backlights and data recording, without having to put electronics in your watch. So the lifelong mechanical watch can be that, and the module itself, the Danish manufactured computer, that can be upgraded over several iterations. It'll have a longer service life than your phone, but not the transgenerational service life of a mechanical watch, and I appreciate that Linde Werdelin kept them separate. You also note that there are bolts on top of the case, just atop the junction with the strap, and that's because it is quite easy to swap straps on this watch. You simply take the tool used to pull out a hex head bolt, so you get your Allen key, you remove the bolts, the strap comes out, you put a new one in. They have all sorts of options, from textile to various leathers and of course rubber in many colors, so you can accessorize to your heart's content. Now, alloy Linde Werdelin may be colorless, but I'm going to come out and say that it's more gray than anything else. It does have directional grain, meaning every surface is a satin finish, and because it is tough stuff, again, it's about as light as aluminum or titanium in the hand, and it's supposed to be harder than steel on its surface. I believe that because none of these facets, and there are many of them, has dulled even a little. I see no chips, I see no smoothing, I see no dulling of the transitions or the creases. This is a sharp-looking watch that could have come right out of the factory. By the looks of things, again, alloy Linde Werdelin, whatever it is, it works. The dial is simple, skeletonized, and spectacular. So how can you be both simple and spectacular? Well, start with a photorealistic moon phase. You can see it at the bottom of the dial. This is going to be an epic loom shot, by the way, guys, so stay tuned. The moon phase, a 29.5-day cycle, is a continuously loomed disc that runs the circumference of the dial, and that's why it's skeletonized. So at night, you see not only the current moon phase loomed, but the entire dial backlit by the moon phase disc. Now, of course, the dial does have tri-Arabics in full cutouts of luminova, so not just loomed, but full cutouts of loomed. And you can see that the hands, which are a sort of modified satin-grained metallic Dauphine style, wonderfully legible day or night, despite the fact that it is a skeletonized dial. That's a rare combination. The dial also has a wonderful depth to it, and you can see it has a sort of architectural girder or scaffolding style, almost like a half-built structure or skyscraper before the glass is installed. It's a beautiful and imaginative design, and you can see that there's also a wonderful ray-hot outboard that slopes down from the bezel. Does the watch borrow? Yes, it does borrow the design language of primarily the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, but it establishes enough that is original and worthwhile that it stands firmly on its own. Well, I'm not going to say four lugs because it doesn't have them, but shall we say its twin ends of its cushion case. Now, moving back to the reverse side, I always try to show this case back of a watch, even if it doesn't have a display case back. You can see the emblem of the Octopus series, a thoughtful pro tip at the bottom, rinse post-C, good idea, and of course the fact that it is water resistant to 300 meters. You'll also note that the crown, not just nicely detailed with the Octopus emblem, also double row knurling for easy grip. Now, the crown does enable quick setting of the moon phase disc. The watch doesn't have a date, so you can quick set the moon phase disc. There's also hacking seconds, so you can stop the balance and synchronize precisely to a reference, such as an online atomic clock. The automatic winder, and I do believe it's bidirectional automatic winder, so ETA based, energizes a 42-hour power reserve, and it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. If I had to guess, I would say that the base is an ETA 2892. Linde Werdelin's not totally forthcoming with that information, but I can tell from the winding sound and the 42-hour power reserve that it is not a 7750 base. This is a watch that offers a lot of character, and because Linde Werdelin doesn't dramatically change its case shape over time, it's compatible with all the straps they make, all of the computers they've made, and it is recognizably the same family of product that debuted back in 2006 with their first models. So while maintaining an avant-garde aesthetic, they have been sedulous about and avoiding planned obsolescence. They've really done right by their customers by keeping a single aesthetic and refining it over the years rather than obliterating every couple of model cycles. You can see and you can purchase this spectacular and spectacularly light Linde Werdelin Oktopus Moonlite in alloy Linde Werdelin on our website. And we're back with the Linde Werdelin Oktopus Moonlite. As you can see, light makes right. You have both the photorealistic moon phase and an animated dial that is just as easy to read by night as it is by day, with luminescent pips, tri-Arabics, and, of course, A thoughtful piece of Danish design ingenuity, the Linde Werdelin logo down just below numeral 9. As you can see, the hands are robustly luminescent, and the contrast between the dial lume and the hand lume makes reading the watch at a glance a snap, even in the dark. This is the Linde Werdelin Oktopus Moonlite limited edition of 59 pieces for 2014.